Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama,
Jaya Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Shri Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadrama. Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Om Vishnupad Paramamsa Parivacharya shows Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki, Shri Radha Gopinath ki, Jagannath Baldev Subhadra ki, the Lordship Gaur Nitai ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga, all Shri Guru Prabhupada ki. Jai. So, Hare Krishna everyone. So, we're continuing our discussion on Canto 1, Chapter 17, titled Punishment and Reward of Kali, text number 23. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. bhagavate vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayat nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavate uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. Text 23. Atava deva mayaya nunam gatir agochara chetaso vachasaschapi bhutanam iti nishchayaha. Atava deva mayaya nunam gatir agochara chetaso vachasaschapi bhutanam iti nishchayaha. Atava deva mayaya nunam gatir agochara chetaso vachasaschapi bhutanam iti nishchayaha. Atava deva mayaya nunam gatir agochara chetaso vachasaschapi bhutanam iti nishchayaha. Agochara Tosadamvashapi Bhutanam iti nishchayaha. Atava te panayaya nunam gatir agochara so vachasaschapi bhutanam iti nishchayaha. Don't try. It's about for translation. Atava, alternatively. Deva, the Lord. Mayaya, energies. Nunam, very little. Gatim, movement. Agochara, inconceivable. Chetasa, either by the mind. Vachasaha, by words. Cha, or. Api, also. Bhutanam, of all living beings. Iti, thus. Nishchayaha, concluded. Translation and purport is Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swamishvara Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thus it is concluded that the Lord's energies are inconceivable. No one can estimate them by mental speculation or by word jugglery. Purport. A question may be raised as to why a devotee should refrain from identifying an actor, although he knows definitely that Lord is the ultimate doer of everything. Knowing the ultimate doer, one should not pose himself as ignorant of the actual performer. To answer this doubt, the reply is that the Lord is also not directly responsible for everything is done by his deputed Maya Shakti or material energy. The material energy is always provoking doubts about the supreme authority of the Lord. The personality of religion knew perfectly well that nothing can take place without the sanction of the Supreme Lord, and still he was put into doubts by the deluding energy. And thus he refrained from mentioning the supreme cause. This doubtfulness was due to the contamination of both Kali and the material energy. The whole atmosphere of the age of Kali is magnified by the deluding energy, and the proportion of measure is inexplicable. So, translation again. Thus, it is concluded that the Lord's energies are inconceivable. No one can estimate them by mental speculation or by word jugglery. So, just to the Mangalacharan. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Takshurum Militam Ena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Stvapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadanti Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savatutam Parijana Charitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Shute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So welcome again for a wonderful Monday morning. So actually when I was preparing for the class, I just read the couple of previous verses that happened. And I couldn't understand it until I heard a lecture. Sometimes we think that the great philosophies of Krishna consciousness, like about Krishna and everybody, ecstatic realizations are in the 10th canto of Bhagavatam with Krishna, with the gopis, or Krishna with his devotees. But even in the first canto, to actually understand in the previous verse that not only the sinner, but the person who identifies the sin or the sinner is also implicated in the sin. Now it's like it's mind-boggling to see something that's going wrong and to actually point your finger and say that that's wrong. It says it's actually you're implicated in the sinful activity or the wrongdoing. So I don't know what to do. It's like, and then here the translation also says that no one can estimate the Lord's energies by mental speculation or by word jugglery. Now, we can take again, I just want to stress the point where Prabhupada explains it very well in the purport. Like if somebody takes just this verse and then puts it into practice, then he's not practicing Srimad Bhagavatam or not understanding what's the message of Lord Krishna. Now, even to read Srimad Bhagavatam or spiritual literatures and to understand them, you need the mercy of a devotee or the mercy or the blessings of a spiritual person. Otherwise, you can actually read as much as you can, but then you won't grasp the essence of the message. So that's why Bhagavad Gita is called the open book of secrets, because you can just purchase a Bhagavad Gita for $20, but you can read it and you can still have so much doubts about life and not understand what's the essence of Bhagavad Gita. But somebody who might not even have read Bhagavad Gita, but is just listening to the realizations of a sadhu, will actually get the essence of Bhagavad Gita. So that is the difference in the Lord's inexplicable potencies, inconceivable potencies, because Krishna is not entitled to give you the knowledge of spiritual knowledge just because you've done your PhD or you've done your you undergone a certain type of austerity or anything like that. Now, just to take and just to put things into perspective, so how do we as practitioners of a spiritual path apply this, where it says if we are not supposed to find fault, even like identify the person or the fault that's happening, what's our position? Should we just be numb, not do anything? So I'll give you an example just to drive the point, because now we all come to the temple. Now if you see the temple being dirty or messy, now you could take the position like, oh yeah, so nothing moves not even a blade of grass moves without the will of the God. So the temple is dirty. So what? I didn't make it dirty, and nobody, even if somebody intended to make it dirty, it's by the will of God, and so be it. And then you can just carry on with your service. No, I don't know what service we're going to do other than cleaning the temple, but we can just carry on with our lives. But we take the effort to understand, okay, this is dirt, so we have to clean it. So as devotees, what we need to do is apply the lens of discrimination. So that's the most important thing. The reason that's very important is Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, if you don't, in even the Kurus, like the party of Duryodhan, they also relatives of Krishna, and they are also kings because it's sanctioned by Krishna, and Arjuna is there to fight against them, and Arjuna is saying, but you have to discriminate which is my energy and which is my deluding energy. So that you have to differentiate. You have to differentiate which is Krishna's energy and which is the energy of ignorance or the material energy, and you have to always choose Krishna's energy. And if we see that the temple is dirty, you still have to clean it. So there are, if some problem is posed to you, there are three solutions that can happen. One is you just take the escapism path, like, oh, everything happens because of Krishna's will, so how can I even solve the problem, and then just get along. So that's called escapism. Another thing you can do is just get engrossed into the problem solving mode, and then just put all your energy into problem solving mode, and then solve the problem, and then get implicated by the material energy and think that you are the problem solver, and then you get more and more implicated by that. So there's two other ways. But the third position is discriminating. This is the energy of the deluding energy. You take the responsibility, use your intelligence to solve the problem as much as you can according to your capability, but at the back end, always keeping in the back of your mind that nothing is happening without the authority of Krishna. So you do that activity not to prove anyone, but you do that activity as a sense of purification. So that is the right way for a devotee to do any service. So I just repeat it. So either you can say that, oh, Krishna is actually doing it, so I can't do anything, he's control, and then not do anything. Or you get too involved without the principles of knowledge, and you just get too implicated with in the material energy, trying to solve the problem, and polluting your conscience. Just your conscience all about solving the problem. You just dive into the problem. Or the third one is understanding that this problem is there and it's my responsibility to solve it. This is not for proving anyone, but it's just for my purification. And then you can actually take the task with the understanding that Krishna is responsible for everything happens. The reason why we need to understand why Krishna is responsible for everything is because sometimes you might try to solve a problem and expect a certain outcome to come. But in the process of solving the problem might get solved, but then the expectation that you had might not come about. And you have to understand that there is a hand of Krishna playing. God's hand plays in there. So you just have to accept that fact and do as much as you can, but have that feeling, because that knowledge gives you detachment. So if you're not detached, then what happens is like once you solve the problem, let's say there is a problem, and you solved it, and then you think, okay, I've worked so hard for solving the problem, no, I can't just leave leave it for someone else to do it. I need to be there. I need to make sure everything's working properly, and you just basically attach to the situation, attach to the place, and then you just end up being there, and not leaving others to grow, and you become I don't know if that's the right word to say, but control freaks do that. Like, they think that because they're there, that's why everything's running properly, so I need to be there. I can't give a response to someone else. So if you don't have that knowledge that Krishna is the ultimate doer, that the part of detachment doesn't come in. You can't give up or move on to another thing. So you have to always understand that. So in terms of understanding this inconceivable potency of the Lord, in the past time where Brahma stole the friends like Gopas and all the cows from Krishna. Now Brahma is the creator of the universe. He couldn't understand Krishna. And usually we say, like, if we can't figure out something, we call for another person, we have a meeting. But Brahma had 4 heads with him, so he couldn't figure out Krishna. So he tried it, but he is like couldn't understand what was happening, even when he stole the cowherd boys. So if we try to find out Krishna by our own energy, we can't identify him. And that's where we askly, like every time we start the Bhagavatam class, we sing the Charanam, Mangala Charan, everything, for asking for blessings. Now in our philosophy, if you take, there should not be no devotee, nobody who's following the spiritual path should basically have fear or anxiety in anybody's life. Because according to the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, we know that everything happens by the will of Krishna. That's one thing. And all the sufferings that come to us, there's no one else, it's nobody's fault, it's our own karma which is part of it. And we also go another level saying that because you're practicing the path of spiritual life, Krishna is personally taking care of you, and he's actually giving you only a fraction of the karma. He's not giving the ultimate karma. Like, so for example, it says that when you get initiated, all the karma that you've incurred from previous births, millions and millions of births, is burnt. And you basically, karma is 0. And it's like, Prabhupada gives the example, when the fan is on and you turn off the fan, the power is cut off, but then still that residual force that makes the fan to rotate for some more time. So Krishna uses just that to actually purify you. So if you understand these 3 things, like Krishna is doing everything, and no one else's reason for my suffering other than my own karma, and then that even the karma that comes to us, Krishna is actually giving only a fraction of it. If we know these things, 3 things, then there is no reason for anyone to be sad. But then, do we see that in devotees? There is problems. We have this counseling system. We have when the spiritual master comes, people pour out, and there is issues with their life and so many things, and they complain, and all these things happens. And this is where the pages of Bhagavatam says that even when you're on a spiritual path, if the goal is not set, you are actually implicated by the deluding energy of the Lord. Now, I will just try to say a story to actually drive the point. So basically, this person who's a rich man, he has a good business going around, living a happy life with wife and kids. And of course, he goes to a temple or something which he's not really interested, but his wife is just pushing him to go. And he comes and sits in the class or in the seminar, just because his wife wants him to sit. And there he hears about how God is so merciful, God is so loving and all these things. And he's just not interested. He just sits there for time being. And as time passes, his business it doesn't run as successfully as it did. He started to making some loss, and some difficulties creep in, and his wife leaves him, have a disagreement, wife leaves him, she takes his kid, and slowly his friends who kind of admired him for his posh life and his money and glamour, they kind of slowly leave him. Now he's in a state where he's like devastated, like, nothing is happening as he planned, and life is going downhill. And then he's walking in the road, and he sees the person who gives a class in the temple, and he sees that person walking on the opposite side of the road, and he just rushes to that person, and he just holds his collar and says like, why are you trying to cheat people? God is not merciful. God is such an evil person. I had a beautiful life and he took everything from me. So people are trying to basically cheat people to just give money to your organization or just get some followers just to show your, in corporate world, just to show your branding. And this is not what a spiritualistic should be doing. This person was taken back. He was like, what's happening here? And then he understood that, come on, is there something wrong? So he said, sir, okay, what's happening? What happened? Can I get to know the background of where you're coming from? And then he said, okay, let's go to the park. Let's sit down. And he kind of explains to him what's happened in his life. Now, devotees always have a way of teaching things that instead of telling the point straight away, it's better to tell through a story. So I'm going to go into another story from this story. So the person, the speaker or the priest or the devotee says like, I'll tell you a story. Okay, there was a boy who, from his young age, he was a poor boy. He was from young age. He was basically wanted to admire having a car, but because his father was not rich, every time he saw a car, he wanted to have that car. So from the age of 5, he was aspiring to have a car but his family situation did not allow it. So his father couldn't buy it. So his goal was basically, I need to get a car. So all through his school age, youth and everything, his goal, his studies, his sacrifice, his determination was everything to just get that car. Now, when he passed out university and everything, he saved a lot of money. And even when he got a job, which is basically a good job for his education, he didn't want to lose his focus. And he wanted to buy a car, which is, and everybody knows if it's your first thing that you're buying, it's a precious thing. The first gift or the first time your father bought you a cycle or something, that's something that you might own so many cars, but the first cycle your father bought is etched in your memory. So he said, my first car, I want the one that I really deserve. And he wanted maybe a BMW or Audi or a Benz. So he just made sure that his first car shouldn't be a second-hand one, just buying off the car yard. It has to be a proper one, and he wanted to just relish it for the rest of his life. So he worked for another 5 years, saving money and everything. And then he at last came to a point where he bought a brand new car, paid out, no loan, no mortgages, no car, no financing. And he took a day off from his work. And then he said, I'm going to enjoy with my car the whole day. Just going to explore every feature of the car, listen to the favorite music and everything. And he just filled up his tank, went for a drive. So this is the speaker, devotee, telling the story to the other person. He goes, enjoys the day, and he's and he goes to a very scenic place, a mountain. On his way back, he's had a nice day. His way back, he was just driving around. Suddenly he sees that's a stone. Somebody threw a stone. A stone comes and hits his windshield. And he's like, And then he just can't believe what's happened. Like, this is the car that he's been earning for, and it's the first day. He goes and parks it a bit further, and then he gets down to see what's happened. So he gets down, just walks a little bit different, and he sees a boy, 10-year-old boy, standing there. And he just rushes to the boy and asks this boy, "Did you throw the stone on my car?" And the boy said, "Yes." And this just, like, of course, saying yes is one thing, but to just not be apologetic and then to just say, "Yes, I threw the stone on your car," it's just adding fuel to the fire. This man got so outrageous. He's like, "How dare you? Do you know how much a car costs? Do you know how much I've been earning to buy this car?" And he was just going on and on and on. And the little boy was, after he finished, he said, like, "I'm really sorry. I did not mean to hit your car. But I have to go home, and I actually took my 4-year-old sister, who is handicapped, in a wheelchair for a walk. And she fell down in the bush, and she's crying. I can't pull her up and put her in the wheelchair. So I've been standing here for an hour or 30 minutes or something like that, waving my hand at every car that passed through, but nobody cared to stop. And it's getting dark. My mom will be wondering what happened to us. So I had no other go to just to grab attention, just throw a stone on whichever car that came, the next car that came. I didn't meant to throw it on your car. Whichever car would have come, I would have just thrown it. So this man just kind of got back to his senses and said, "All right, I'm really sorry. Let's go help your sister." And they took her from some small pit or something which she's fallen, and then they put her back on the wheelchair. And then he said, "Do you want me to drop you in a house?" He said, No, that's fine. It's just close by. Cars can't access. I can go by my own." So he went. Now when he got back into the car, he saw the small crack on his windshield. Now the devotee or the priest was talking to this man and said, "Dear son, sometimes our life is so fast, really fast, that sometimes until a shock happens, we don't stop to help others or think outside of just the material realm. So that's why sometimes shocks happen." Now, then that man understood. Then the man was having understood, like, what's happening in his life. So the priest said, "See, you come here crying that you lost your business, you lost your you lost your friends, you lost your wealth, you lost your kids and wife, and you have that so much anger, and you're just trying to you choose me to pour out because I was just repeating what's said in the scriptures, but you choose to pour the anger on me. Now just think about the same thing that I've been talking in wherever you heard me. Now Krishna, or God, is an eternal Father. Eternal Father. He is waiting for us every single day to turn our attention towards all these away from these material things and towards Him. And He's waiting for us every single day. But when things, and sometimes what happens is Krishna gives, like, like how you give your kid, like if a kid asks for a chocolate, he asks for a toy or something, you give the kid. For what? Do you give the kid toys and the presents and the gifts and the chocolates for the kid to go away from you? For the kid to love you more? Now sometimes Krishna thinks that, okay, if I give something to him, then he will understand that it's coming, God is giving me these things, so I should come and thank him. But what happens is people just take that and they use it as enjoyment, and they're more concentrated on the things that they got rather than who's providing it. They miss the link. So Krishna, or God, who after trying that path, sees that he is not turning back because he's eternal Father. Then he has no choice just to give a shock for you to turn away. It's not that he wants to do that. Just like a loving father, if the kid doesn't understand, is not learning the lessons, he might take away the toys. Just not that because the father likes to see the kid being sad and morose, just because he needs to understand the value and where it comes from. So, and then he says that it basically, that's our situation. In Brihad Bhagavatamrita, where the story of the Gopakumar going back to Goloka Vrindavan. So when he goes there, he asks this question, where is Krishna? And then they say that Krishna has gone there. And when Krishna comes back, the first thing what Krishna says, oh, I've been waiting for you. Now it's not that Krishna has so many other people, so he doesn't care about you. It's not like that. Krishna wants you. Krishna, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that every individual, every living, every spirit soul is very important to Krishna, because that soul has a specific service, very specialized, in that Krishna only that soul can give that pleasure to Krishna. Like for example, if in a spiritual world you are massaging Krishna's feet, your expertise is just to massage maybe the toe finger, the toe of Krishna, or just to massage the knees. And Krishna, nobody else in Golokandan can do that other than you. But you're here, and Krishna is missing that service. And it's not about Krishna missing the service, it's basically Krishna missing the interaction, the relationship that he had in the spiritual world. And we have practical example of that. Basically, if some of our relatives go, or one of your best friends, he's gone to India, or and is not off for a month, you might have other friends. It's no problem. Like you might be life will be busy, but then you just miss that person. You miss that person. Yeah, it would be nice if he was there. That's the same thing which Krishna feels. So, from our perspective, what I wanted to say is, Krishna is trying different things. Krishna is more wanting us to come back. And it's our duty to just do whatever we can. And here, the spiritual practice that we do is something that to take us from one level to another level. I'll give you an example. So devotees have different services. Everybody is individualistic. Everybody has their own expertise. Everybody has their own capacity and power to do things. But the one thing that actually unites all of us is that we have a common goal, that when we come here, that the common goal is like we all want to go back to Golok Vrindavan. That's a common goal. You might be doing different things. Somebody might be doing garland. Somebody might be cooking in the kitchen. Somebody might be going Sankirtan. Somebody might be doing Bhakti Vriksha programs. Somebody might be taking care of kids. Anything, no matter what. The ultimate goal which connects all of us is that we want to go back to Golok Vrindavan. Now, that goal needs to be a common. The goal can't change. Now, if you look at a person, if you look at a taxi driver, I will just say, like, don't be a taxi driver. Not professionally, but within the spiritual practice. Because a taxi driver doesn't have a goal as such. So when he gets the car for his whole shift, like 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. in the evening, or 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning, he just gets into the car just to drive around, to get passengers, drop them off. But personally, he doesn't have a goal. Now, what happens sometimes in spirituality is that we've been in this process for some time, or for a long time, that we're just coming to temple, going to our home program, doing this, doing that, just becomes like, without goals, we just keep doing it. Like, dropping off, picking up passengers, dropping off, picking up passengers. We sometimes even forget the goal. Why are we even going for a program? Why are we going for a particular seminar. We just go because, I've already go. People have got used to seeing me in the program, but if I don't go, then people will think like, people ask me like, why are you not? So it's just, I just be there. It's like a status, it becomes status quo as well. Like if I don't go, then people will think I'm not a devotee. But the goal sometimes even goes behind the scenes. So our spiritual practice is not to just be like a taxi driver, just going places without any goal. There needs to be a goal. And it could be a goal not being a very high goal. It should be small goals, according to one's capacity. But we can't try to make the same mistakes again and again. That's something that we have to be introspective of. I'll give you a small incident. Like, for example, a lady went to a pizza shop. And then it's a story which Gaurav Gopal Prabhu said, which I heard. So a lady went to a pizza shop and she ordered for a pizza. And then she was waiting for the pizza to come. And while she was waiting, I don't know, some people don't like lizards, and some people don't like cockroaches. So she found a lizard or a cockroach, whichever you don't like it, choose that one. She found a cockroach on her shoulder. And you know what happens there? Like, that too, like, if cockroaches fall on lady's shoulder, they just start dancing. Even if they don't dance in front of Radha Gopinath, but they just start dancing wherever they are. She just started moving and dancing, do a salsa dance. And she just pushed the cockroach away from her body. And then that cockroach fell on another lady, and it was her turn. She started dancing. And again, she pushed it off, and it went to the waiter or the person who was coming to deliver the pizza to that lady. So, but the waiter, very calmly, he just put the pizza down, just wiped the cockroach off, took some hand sanitizer, cleaned up, and then took the pizza again and kept it on the lady's table. Now the observation is that the cockroach is not the cause of the problem. We always try to point the cockroach, but the problem is what is your capacity to deal with the problem? Now the two ladies who did the salsa dance, they were not able to deal with the problem, with being a cockroach. But the waiter who was bringing the pizza, he was calm enough to actually stop and then think about it and then take the cockroach out, be in a calm state, and then do what is needed. So it's just one's ability to deal with the problems. So the two things that can happen is like, one is like you can just react, which is impulsive. Another choice you have is like to respond, which is a well thought out outcome for what the situation what the circumstances puts before you. So what happens is, in our spiritual life, we have to see how we can actually move from one place, one stage to another stage. Now, some troubles come in, right? Where the purport says is, you're not supposed to identify that somebody is doing wrong. Where we can imply that is basically, if somebody is bringing some suffering to us, the way we have to take it is, he's not the person who's actually bringing, he's just acting as an agent to bring whatever karma is due for me. But the thing is, we can only think like that if we allow us to think like that. By understanding the philosophy, to understanding the message of Bhagavad Gita, only if we choose to think like that, then purification happens. But if we choose to think, because of that person, I'm not happy, or this person is actually bringing this issue to me just to irritate me or frustrate me, then you choose not to take that instruction, and it becomes a habit. Of course, as non-devotees or people who don't know this knowledge, of course they act like that. But sometimes even there are different courses which talk about anger management, personality development, which is all taken from Bhagavad Gita, or in terms it's explained in Bhagavad Gita. But it becomes an habit. If you choose to react every time, it just becomes an habit. But if you choose to respond, then it becomes a new, you start to create a new karma. The reason why from reacting to responding is a hard thing is because it's just the same as spiritual life. Sometimes when devotees come to take up the spiritual process, they suddenly raise to a great height very quickly. Like they start chanting 16 rounds and do everything. And that's because they might have done that in the previous birth. It's very easy for them to come to the stage where they have left off. But to go after that is like an uphill drive. It takes a long time. So when we understand that sometimes if you're reacting and not responding, to make the shift is really hard. But once you make the shift, that means you're learning, you're reading the philosophy and you're applying it, and you're trying to make the change. Otherwise, what happens is you end up being a taxi driver, going, reading, coming to class, going out, having prasadam, coming to arti, offering lamp, everything. We can do everything externally, but the change hasn't come from within. So we, as a part of a goal, going back to Golok Vrindavan, and we have to aspire that we change from within and not just continue doing the same things that we did before. I finish up here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.